Hello and welcome to this afternoon taste challenge, late afternoon taste challenge for our time. I have two 40% alcohol distilled spirit specialties, silver rums with natural flavors, bottled in Kentucky by the Sazerac company. This is Grand Legacy Silver Caribbean style rum. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. It is produced for Casey's General Store. I bought this at CVS Pharmacy for $10.99 back when it was made for CVS Pharmacy. It was originally for CVS Pharmacy, but they dropped their contract with it, and so it was picked up by Casey's General Stores. Okay. Introduced in 2006. I'll put this in the notes. Caribbean style rum. Michael says, cheers, Ron. Clinking the mugs, drinking some old style this evening. I wish we could get Heileman's old style in Louisiana, but we can't. Here is Calypso Silver. That's a standard Sazerac bottle. Calypso Silver. Calypso, a Greek mythological creature, but they're showing on Mrs. Captain Morgan. So the I don't know what a woman pirate's got to do with Calypso, except they're both related to the sea. But anyway, I guess they figure most people that drink this aren't too big into literature. Anyway, silver. There's a story on the back about Calypso. And it says from Sazerac, North America. So they're not using an alias name on this one, Sazerac, North America. This one is from Legacy Distilling Company, who is part of Sazerac. Okay. I bought this in Texas at Ralston Liquor on Lyons Avenue, and it was $5.98. $5.98 at Ralston Liquors. This is going to be a very tough taste challenge, and I'll probably very likely not be able to tell them apart one from another. They're both from Kentucky. They're both from the same parent company. They're both silver rums with natural flavors. So they're both about the same price per ounce. Can you get the Grand Legacy in the glass bottle? This I do not know. I've never seen it in a glass bottle. I've seen it in the big bottles like this, plastic, and the travel, they call them travel bottles, 750 milliliter, those squared off bottles that fit in the suitcase. So I've never seen them in glass. Calypso, I've seen it in glass only, I think, because I haven't seen handles. Well, maybe I have. I just overlooked them. Yeah, the handles are plastic. Yes, that's right. Correct. Correction, mistake, and then corrected. So Calypso, I can find this in Louisiana, but not so easily. But I saw it in Texas, and it seemed to be everywhere in Texas. And even earlier this, or was it last month? When I went to Texas recently, it must have been this month. Yeah, they had it. Yeah, I didn't need more. I did not need more of it. Houston, Texas, to be specific. Okay. And after this, I'll try to watch some baseball highlights. They had some afternoon games today and at 1 o'clock Eastern time. They didn't get rained out. And then we'll do the Strong Beer Wednesday at top of the hour, 7 o'clock Eastern time, 4 o'clock Pacific time. Doesn't have a lot of aroma. You can smell it's 40%. Like you get that distillate, but you don't get much else. Same over here. Not a whole lot happened. Maybe a little. It seemed like a little oak, but they're probably not aged at all. So that's probably just a confusion in my mind. Taste time. Yeah. Cane sugar distillate, sugar cane stalks, sugar, alcohol, yeast. Now, what are the natural flavors? Plural. I don't know. To me, it tastes like maybe they're tweaking it with vanilla. Why would they want to add natural flavor? Natural flavoring. I would assume they think it makes it taste better, right? Right? They didn't add it to make it taste worse. Joe Cobb says, "Hope you are well, Ron, drinking some gin and playing that game I mentioned to you." Oh yeah, Gin. My daughter likes gin. I don't really like it. I don't dislike it, but I'm not really into. I'm obviously not into it. This one acts like it acts like this one acts like it has more vanilla in it, more flavoring. I prefer gin-based seltzers to vodka-based ones. Okay, may as well drink what you like, right? Okay, medium-bodied. It's a full-bodied product, not same, but a little drier and finish, a little sweeter in that finish, but not really a sweet finish, just relatively so. Um, am I tasting enough difference to prefer one over the other? No, no way, no way. They're so even. Price point same, availability the same, meaning hard to find around here or nearly impossible. No big deal. Enjoyment level, yeah, moderate. B, 8.3 out of 10, probably be a fair score. 8.3 out of 10. A B, just good. Not very good, just good. Not a problem. Not a problem. Paying $5.98, and it's a good silver rum with natural flavors. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's better to drink less of something you enjoy rather than drinking more of something cheap just to get drunk. Definitely, definitely cannot disagree with that. I definitely agree with that. This whole getting drunk thing is a bad practice. And when people do that, they're playing with fire. And when you play with fire, you get burnt. So there's no point to that. There is no good point to that. There may be a point to it, positive. You can't associate anything positive with it because then it becomes drug abuse, which you might want to check yourself, look in the mirror, and ask some questions. Yep, alcohol is a good servant, but a terrible master, as the saying goes. Yeah, good servant and terrible master. So, definitely not my approach. This whole getting wild, partying, getting tore up. Now, I know people who do it, and I don't agree with it, and I don't get involved with it. Yeah, I still drink a bit much from time to time, but I'm still young. Well, gave up smoking weed 1 year ago clean. Yeah. Oh, well, don't even get me started on that. Don't even get me started on that. All right. It's funny because I've had people ask me in the past, "Hey, man, you smoke weed?" Or no, they usually ask it like, "Hey, man, you smoke?" said, I don't smoke cigarettes. Oh man, you know what I mean. You know, the stuff. I tell them, no, I'm not interested in that. And then they'll be like paranoid. They're asking me a question, right? You asking me a question. And then I tell them, no, I'm not interested in it. And then they'll come back with this. Why are you judging me? I'm not judging you. Asked me, did I smoke? I told you no, and you telling me I'm judging you. Do what you want, especially since I'm not paying for it. You asked me a simple question. Now, there has to be a reason they asked me that question. I don't know if they wanted some kind of verification or some kind of support for what they're involved with. I don't know, but don't ask me the question and tell me I'm judging you. Now, if you ask me, can you evaluate what I'm doing? Then, yeah, then maybe I'll give you either I will or I'll tell you I don't want to do that. But it's funny how people are. I haven't had that happen a lot, but has happened. Now I've had other people just unsolicited announce this to me, what they smoke. Hey man, I smoke, fill in the blank. You know what the blank is going to be when it's filled in. And I'll say, oh, okay. I don't know if they're looking for a response or some kind of reaction. I don't say anything. I might think some things now in my mind. I'm thinking, oh, but I don't. I'm not here to tell people what to do. Okay. I mean, you say, what's your political philosophy? Libertarian. So why would I tell them what to do? Burley Sullivan says, you. Hey, cheers back to you, Burley. The funny thing about the liquor, people are not that way with liquor. You know, it's a different approach. They don't ever say, you know, like, why are you judging me? You know, they're not like paranoid about it. It's like a different thing. I did have one guy about 10 years ago get angry with me because he was telling me, no, it was 13 years ago, he was telling me alcohol and marijuana are the same thing. I mean, that's like telling me a lemon and an avocado is the same thing. They're vegetative, they're fruits or vegetables, you know, but they're not the same thing. Nobody would ever think that. I said, no, they're not the same thing. And he just kept harping on it on Facebook. Yes, they are. They're the same thing. I said, well, alcohol is a depressant and marijuana is a psychedelic. One, you know, it's like they have different effects on people. That it's a different effect. AFFECT. But he just kept saying it. So finally I said, let me make this simple for you. And then he got enraged when I said, let me make this simple for you. And when I went to his house, he was like, you want to make it simple for me? I said, well, you were persisting in something that was obviously wrong and you didn't want to hear what I had to say. So I thought I would simplify it. And I started laughing. You know, it was funny to me. I think that's the Calypso because and this is definitely not any level of confidence, but I think the Calypso had a tiny bit more flavoring additive in my experience. That like seemed like they put maybe a little bit more flavoring to it. Doesn't make much of a difference, but it is the Calypso. I got it right, so yeah, it makes all the difference. Haha. No, I don't change the story when I win versus when I lose. It just doesn't make that much of a difference. But it's slight. If you think about it enough, you can pick it up. If you think about it enough, you can pick it up. Now, do I have any more Sazerac products coming? Yeah, I got Caliber. No way I'm confusing that one. That thing tastes like cotton candy. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, the Sazerac company, or in this case, IWA Distilling Company Limited, part of Sazerac, decided let's make a rum, distilled spirit specialty rum, silver, Caribbean. And the one I have is from the Caribbean. Now, the newer bottles say Caribbean style because, you know, they started that distillery in Owensboro, Kentucky. But for whatever reason, they said to each other, let's make a rum that tastes like cotton candy. or strawberry shortcake, because I can't figure out if it tastes like cotton candy or strawberry shortcake. You say, but those are both bizarre statements to make. Yeah, right. I agree. Try it. Try the product. You'll see. You'll say to me, oh, that's not bizarre. It really is like that. I know. But not bad flavors. I like cotton candy, maybe one bite. Strawberry shortcake, I like it. Theoretically, I do like it. But when you taste a rum that has those flavors, it makes you wonder. But so that's coming up. And then I think that's all the Sazerac rums. I might have overlooked one, but I think that's all. Then I've got some obscure Bulcaron from Texas, which I think has been discontinued because they dropped it from the website, and then its own website disappeared. And I haven't seen it in any store in about 2 years. But anyway, if they discontinued it, oh well, tough. I have 2 bottles, silver and gold. Really nice stuff, in my opinion. And I've got one from bottled in Philadelphia, Bocador, which supposedly means in your mouth, because you're going to put it in your mouth, you're going to drink it. I've got Castillo, which is very popular, easily available, sold everywhere. I got Bacardi, Silver, Superior. Everybody knows Bacardi, of course. That will never lose. Not to what I'm bringing to the table on this series. In this series, I have Captain Morgan White. That's a very dry rum. I can't see that losing. I can't imagine that could lose. How could it lose? I have what's that one called? Country Club. I think it's called Country Club. That might lose because that's pretty shabby. That's a shabby product, but not a terrible product, but a little. Oh, Clubhouse. That's right, Clubhouse. It's a little. It's not the best, but it was $5.99 a liter. And then I've got the Ron, the one with the ship on it. You'll see what it is. It's kind of nasty in the aroma, but it tastes pretty good. I have a lot. I have too many silver rums. All right, so stay tuned now. Get ready because we'll be back in 30 minutes with Strong Beer Wednesday. Thanks for watching, everybody.